Chapter 2.2 Idle Minds with Too Much Time. Red was left with her thoughts, and nothing else. There was nothing else on this ship. Really, nothing. After her initial disappointment, Retta was excited for Tobias to leave. She finally had a chance to snoop, go through Tobias's things, and figure out who he was and why he went to Earth. But this rust bucket was as exciting as a tin can. She would have thought he'd have something in his personal quarters. A journal, a link, maybe even a mysterious letter or some correspondence from that Stars lady, Claire. That was what Retta hoped for from this roguish fugitive. Instead, what she found was exceedingly mundane. 3 stained white tank tops Tobias had to his name. A disheveled bed with mismatched sheets. Black socks with holes in the toes and Alpha's white fur lint. His empty liquor bottles lined the floor like bowling pins, ready to topple over from the gentlest wind. That was his quarters, and the cockpit was even more pedestrian. Retta hoped for a star map, or maybe secret instructions folded 7 times over and tucked away within the dash, a relic of the paper past so no prying hackers could find it. Instead, she got a hula girl on the dash, who didn't even hula since their ship flew through the frictionless void of space. A small cardboard air freshener hung from her base with the new ship scent. Considering how torn and worn the edges were, that new smell had gone stale ages ago. It couldn't beat the reek of alcohol from Tobias's pilot seat. Her last hope to find something interesting was the main hull and common area. Tobias always fell asleep on the sofa or took calls from Claire there. Retta went to the couch, jammed her hands through the cushions, and hoped something slipped from Tobias's pockets when he passed out on the couch. All she found was turned over, dead cockroaches, frozen from rigor mortis and dead from starvation. When even cockroaches can't find food on a ship, you know there's a problem. Please, she thought and went to his computer. Please, just give me something. She hadn't seen a desktop computer in years. They were practically relics since Lynx took over the mainstream. Red thought about it and realized she never saw Tobias wearing a Link. She wasn't sure if it was an active protest of new tech or he was behind the times. Whatever it was, she prayed he wouldn't ask her for tech support. Retta turned on Tobias's desktop. Its fans whirred, and it coughed up a nasty storm of dust. Red scrunched her nose and recoiled back, but the monitor didn't turn on. Come on, she said, getting angry. Come on! The computer tower choked even worse, hacking up a lung in a spasmodic fit. She banged against its side, a spray of dust shot up, and the monitor flickered on. A thin, red line of dead pixels cut across the screen, but Retta could still read. Yes, she said, finally finding something of interest. Let's see who Claire is. The desktop needed a password. She tried a few. 1131? Incorrect. Alpha? Negative. Alcohol? Nope. She thought. Oh, wait. Don't tell me. Password. A gray circle spun around as the computer loaded. She couldn't believe he was that predictable. Did he really? Too many attempts, it said on screen. Computer has been locked. Wait, what? Retta thought. Ugh. She pushed back in the chair, recoiled her head back, and ran her fingers through her hair. Retta was already sick of this. Her stomach was rumbling, she was hungry and angry, and she had absolutely nothing to do on this ship. Why? She said, shut her eyes, and threw her hands against the table. Why am I wasting my time here? The table rattled, and a moment later, a glow came. Retta thought it was the screen flickering, but when she looked, nothing changed. The screen was the same, but now there was a bluish-green glow illuminating her fingers. The glow wasn't from the screen. It came from her jacket. She followed the light, saw it radiate through the seam, and she felt a warmth pressed against her chest. Did Tobias plant a tracker inside my jacket? Before he left? She wondered. She followed the glow to her jacket's inner pocket. How didn't I notice? She pulled out her notebook, and with it, the baton. The oddly glowing wooden baton. Retta didn't know how to make sense of it. This piece of dark, carved wood was glowing a blue-green aura. Is this actually wood? She held it in her hands, the baton warm to the touch, and twisted it around, bringing it closer to eye level to see if there were any hidden switches, seams, tiny interwoven solar panels, anything that could indicate why a piece of wood was glowing against her skin. What's going on? She wondered and noticed the pulse of the baton stronger on one side. Is this supposed to be a compass? The baton pointed towards a window. It piqued Retta's curiosity, and this was more interesting than anything of Tobias's. She abandoned his desktop, went to the window, and saw a small, rotating green planet beneath them. It was the one Tobias flew to. The glow of the baton twisted like a compass needle. Somewhere new? It was uncanny, strange, and inexplicable, and that's what snatched Retta's attention. The baton was pointing her towards the hangar. But why? She wondered. Tobias already left. Retta followed the baton, and inside the hangar she saw the second skiff. It should have been in a junkyard. The wings were bronze orange and the rust was rampant. The body was a thatchwork of patch after patch after patch. She doubted more than stitches held this ship together. Yet, the baton still drew her to it, and pointed towards the cockpit of the ship. This is stupid, she thought, but still felt compelled to follow the baton. Why would I ever? She found herself climbing the skiff's rocky wings, unlatching the cockpit, and felt a swarm of butterflies tickle her stomach. Her heart fluttered with excitement. The skiff's keys were on the seat, and she had an opportunity to get off this ship. Where would I even go? She wondered, and felt the baton pulse at her side. It didn't speak to her, not in the way a voice would, but she felt its call, its mental tug. She knew where the baton wanted her to go. It wanted her on that planet, the same one Tobias went on. Somehow, Retta knew the answers she wanted would be waiting for her there. Answers about the baton and what it was. Despite being landlocked on Earth, Retta had a few low-flying lessons with her father before he passed. She was at least familiar with piloting a skiff. The yoke, the thrusters, and the takeoff. She flicked some switches, locked the cockpit, and established the pressurized seal. The wheels engaged with the launch rails. Her skiff was pulled into the airlock bay, and the heavy, metal sliding doors shut behind her. She was sealed off from the inner safety of the junk dog. There was no turning back. Is this the right move? Anxiety gnawed at her stomach. Jettisoning off Tobias' ship? Landing on an unknown planet? Following an uncanny lead? The more she thought, the more her nerves crept up from her stomach and into her throat. The idea sounded outright dumb on its face. But her mother had done the same thing, time and time again. She followed her curiosity, and that's what made her the galaxy's greatest journalist. The hangar doors opened. Space was waiting. That dark, dangerous void, speckled with the miraculous glow of infinite stars. Despite the void, the baton radiated once more. Somehow, Retta just knew. She was meant to go.